Welcome everybody to How Fast Will It Go, and today we're dealing with the 2005 Ford GT. Now it says 1191 horsepower, 623 pounds-feet of torque from a 6-litre twin-turbocharged V12 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,632 pounds, now has all-wheel drive, and it can do 0 to 60 in 1.936 seconds and 0 to 104.031 seconds. Now I would have preferred to keep its supercharged V8 in this car, because it's easily one of the best engines Ford have used in one of their more sporty vehicles, but it didn't generate quite enough power, so I've given this much larger engine in terms of cylinders and cubic capacity, and yeah, nearly 1200 horsepower should do the job. So let's get out there and see what it can do. Now I've not taken the more modern Ford GT out because that also has the problem of lacking horsepower, but unlike this you can't swap the engine out, so yeah, probably use that on Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills if I haven't already at some point. Because yeah, supercars and hypercars and the like have done incredibly well in that series so far. Far better than you would expect for an off-road series, but yeah, this Ford GT here is doing pretty well so far. 240. It's 255, 260, 265, 268. 269 briefly there, but we were only blipping it. 268 is still really good, especially for a vehicle that has very minimal torque, which obviously wouldn't have been the case if it had the V8 still, but again, still wouldn't have produced anywhere near the level of horsepower on that this engine is producing, and clearly that we need. Yeah, let's get to the other side of the motorway if we don't keep going off here. And let's see what it can do on the other side. Just wish the more modern get out of the way, Moser. Just wish the more modern Ford GT could have an engine swapped into it, because I imagine that could go really quick, because that's even more modern obviously and has a more improved aerodynamics than this car. Will probably be lighter as well with upgrades. Yeah, that V6 engine, which is twin turbocharged, but can only get about 900 horsepower out of it, unfortunately. Which is a lot, but it's not even, you know, half as much again as the amount of horsepower you get in its stock. Managed 260 there, but we're not as consistent in terms of speed as the Lamborghini Centenario from the previous episode, and we've crashed spectacularly there. I don't even know what we rolled off. But yeah, 268 is not something to be turning your nose up at. It's not quite as quick as I would like, considering it's got 1200 horsepower and weighs very little, and it was hardly a slow car in its own right in stock form. Can never see anything in those tunnels. But yeah, there we go. 268 miles an hour is our final top speed. We did slightly blip 269, but not enough to really be considered a consistent speed. But yeah, 268 miles an hour is still nonetheless good enough to match the Mercedes-AMG E63S, the Mitsubishi Starion ESIR, the Ferrari F12tdf, the Porsche 356 SL Coupe, the Moser MT900S, which was getting in the way of us earlier, the Morgan Aero GT, the Porsche 917/20, Speed and the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione, which is actually similarly aged to this, as well as the Pagani Huayra BC, Maserati MC12 Versione Corsa, the Radical RXC Turbo, and the Vauxhall VX220 Turbo. But it is also slightly behind the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, Pagani Zonda, Cinque Roadster, Celine S7, which is probably the closest vehicle to this in terms of age and you know, origin, and the Lotus 11. So yeah, not quite as good as I would have hoped, but still a reasonable amount of speed there, and it's certainly quicker than several far more modern vehicles, and yeah, For a 15-year-old car, this did reasonably well, especially considering it's got more than twice the power it had originally, even if it's not got quite as much torque as I would have liked. But yeah, still a good car, handles really well, reasonably well, and yeah, still gets up to far better speed than most vehicles on this game and on this series. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.